Excuse me. You have not been good to her. You have all treated her like shit to steal back a fortune that you lost and she deserves. You're a pack of vultures at the feast, knives out, beaks bloody. But you're not getting bailed out. Not this time. Miss Cabrera has decided definitively not to renounce the inheritance.
What?
Furthermore, it will be my professional recommendation to the local authorities that the manner of death in the case of Harlan Thromby is ruled strictly suicide. The case is closed. Please keep the family out of this room. Get them out of the house if you can, but stand by with your additional officers. Get the family out. Yes, but not all of them. Would you? Xi Jinping did one.
Blanc, come on, what's all this drama?
Indulge me.
Blanc, I told Ransom, Ransom told you, and I'm telling you now. It is an immovable fact that I killed Harlan.
Yes, you did. Yes, he did. Yes, you are. But I spoke in the car about the hole at the center of this donut. And yes, what you and Harlan did that fateful night seems, at first glance, to fill that hole perfectly. A donut hole in a donut's hole. But we must look a little closer. And when we do, we see that the donut has a hole in its center. It is not a donut hole, but a smaller donut with its own hole. And our donut is not whole at all.
Blanc, I understand that this is amusing for you, but
Why was I hide?
someone fishing for any crime that could help reverse the will.
I was hide before the sealed will was read, so yes, the person must have known the contents of the will. But one step further, that same person must have known a crime was committed. And further, if the intent was to reverse Marta's inheritance, they must have known that Marta was responsible. An intriguing combination of factors. Someone knew what Marta did, wanted to expose it, but could not reveal how they knew.
Fran, she was blackmailing me. She knew what I did.
But Fran wanted money, ergo she did not want the crime exposed.
Did someone in the family see Marta doing something suspicious?
They would have had no reason not to speak up. No, the answer is not so simple. Now, with the entire solution in my field of view, the arc of this case is a tragedy of errors. And Marta, it will not be easy for you to hear, but there is at least one truly guilty party behind it all. Guilty in the true sense of acting with malice and committing a heinous crime with selfish intent. Trooper Wagner.
Trooper Wagner?
No. Marta, I'm sorry. I told them everything. I figured it was all up. I'm sorry.
It's all right, Ransom. I'm glad that you did.
Not exactly everything, though.
Is this about what Great Nana told you? She saw me that night. She mistook me for Ransom.
We'll get to that, but first, Mr. Hugh Ransom Drysdale, you might tell us all why you hired me. Why I hired you? You're right, let's back it up. To the night of the party, your argument with Harlan. What were the words overheard by the Nazi child masturbating in the bathroom? My will, and I'm warning you. You and Harlan were drama mamas. You shared a love of twisting the knife into one another. See, I don't believe he would have slipped it in halfway, no. I submit. Harlan told you everything. You can't be serious! Not a red dime or word of my work to a single one of them, you included. Marta, remind me what Ransom said his conversation with Harlan ended with.
Harlan told him that I could beat him in Go.
And I asked myself, Marta, why would the topic of the will steer around to Marta? There is one obvious explanation. You can't be that crazy. You're not just gonna throw away your fortune. No, I'm giving it to Marta. All of it. You Brazilian nurse. Are you goddamn insane? I'm sane for the first time in my life, and I've done it. I've made the change to my will. It's done. I'm warning you. That's some heavy-duty conjecture. Granted, but it's the only way what comes next makes sense. So you storm out. You drive off into the night. You tell Marta later of what was it? Feeling an overwhelming sense of
clarity. That he had to make do for himself from here on out.
Exactly. Marta, the will, Harlan, do for yourself. You won't get away with this. And the plan forms. You return, careful to avoid the gate security camera range. Then on foot up towards the house, you sneak in up the trellis so as not to be seen by the rest of the family who are still having their party downstairs. What you need to do will take moments, but it is essential you are alone and undetected. You knew the medications Harlan took, you knew what Marta would be injecting him with that night, and you knew if Marta was responsible for his death, even unintentionally, the Slayer rule would nullify the changed will and you would get your share back. You used the syringes in the kit to switch the liquids in the 2 medication vials, and, as a final precaution, you took the naloxone, the life-saving antidote.
No, that's impossible.
It's the truth. Hand me that vial of morphine, I'll show you.
If he did that, if the meds were switched, then when I got them mixed up, I accidentally switched them back, but then I gave Harlan
the correct doses, yes, but not accidentally. I taped over the labels of these 2 vials. The vials themselves are identical. How did you know that this was the morphine?
I just knew.
You knew because there's the slightest, almost imperceptible difference with tincture and viscosity between the 2 liquids. You knew because you had done it 100 times. You gave him the correct medication because you are a good nurse.
Then Harlan was...
I'm sorry, Marta, but yes. Harlan was perfectly fine. His blood was normal. The cause of death was truly, solely suicide, and you are guilty of none but some damage to the trellis and a few amateur theatrics. In fact, if Harlan had listened to you and called the ambulance, he would be alive today.
God damn, what the fuck?
A twisted web. But we are not finished untangling it, not yet. Marta, when Great Nana spotted you climbing down the trellis, she said,
Ransom, are you back again already?
Are you back again already? Because earlier that night...
Ransom, you're back?
Marta, come on. This is stupid with 2 O's. You don't have a shred of evidence. You're just spinning a fairy tale. Not a shred, no. Just as we have no real proof of Marta's mixing up the vials, so it's your word against... You have her confession! All right, we do have that. If you'll indulge me, I'd like to spin a little further. Much later that night, you would have had to come back to the house to break in and retrieve the incriminating tampered vials. However, this time the dogs were outside. They barked, waking Meg. No matter, you'll get the vials tomorrow. But tomorrow brings news not of a medical error and a guilty nurse, but of a slit throat and a suicide. Now the circumstances are perfect for the anonymous hiring of me. You know a crime has been committed by Marta. You need her to be caught for it. You cannot reveal how you know. Enter Benoit Blanc.
Benny, look, I hear what you're saying.
Shh. The body was discovered early the next morning. The police, the medical examiners, the family, everyone swarms in, and there's no possible way you can get to Marta's medical bag to remove the vials. You must wait for your moment, when the investigation is over and you know the house will be empty. And that is why you miss the funeral. There's no one home to wonder why you're going to the Harlan study. Or so you think. Poor Fran. She witnessed you tampering with Harlan's medication in the medical bag. She did not know what you were doing, but she knew you were up to no good. And so her mind begins to turn.
Oh God, that movie she told me about with Danica McKellar.
Deadly by surprise.
That's what she was talking about.
She loved Harlan. She hates Ransom. So the poor girl decides to test her theory and make this asshole pay. She gets a copy of the toxicology report. Now, I will be honest, I have no idea how.
She has a cousin. She told me she has a cousin who works as a receptionist in the examiner's office.
Well, voila. The numbers, they mean nothing to her, but if Ransom is guilty, their existence is a threat. So she photocopies the header and makes her blackmail note.
So why did she send it to me?
She didn't. She sent it to Ransom. And when Ransom first gets it, what is his reaction? Elation. He still thinks Marta gave Harlan the tampered drugs. A blood tox report will prove Marta's guilt. He goes to the will reading in high spirits, ready to see the family tear themselves apart, secure in the knowledge that it'll all be undone when the tox report comes to light. And then, Marta's confession, and everything turns on its head. Now he realizes that Marta has committed no crime, and the tox report will prove her innocence. The changed will is going to stand. He has lost. Unless you decide you're not going to give up the money. You're not going to give up the money. You've come this far. You've come this far. Just one step further, one last act. In for penny, in for pound. You decide you are in. Step 1, destroy all evidence of Marta's innocence. Step 2, send Marta the anonymous email with a late morning rendezvous time and deliver her the blackmail note. Step 3, keep your appointment with Fran.
I knew it. I knew you were a no-good son of a bitch. I knew Harlan wouldn't just kill himself.
Yes, you were right, Fran.
I knew you were guilty as shit. And now you're gonna pay for it. Don't come near me. Don't come near me.
Now the board is set. Marta'll get the blackmail note. You put the pieces together for her. You guide her to the rendezvous. You'll make an anonymous call to the police. They'll catch her there with the body and the burned evidence. Marta will be arrested for killing Fran and Harlan.
She said, "You did this." She didn't say, "You did this." She wasn't talking about me. She said, "You did this. You did this. Because you made the help call you Hugh. Because you're an asshole."
And it would have worked if we hadn't brought you in for questioning so you couldn't make your anonymous call. And if Fran hadn't stashed a safety copy of the tox report. And if Marta had not outplayed you once again by having a kind heart. By saving Fran's life. Though it meant her losing the inheritance and going to jail, she didn't play your game. She saved Fran's life. Fran's alive? Oh, yes. Fran, who will confirm this very story, or summit close to it, and send you, Hugh, to jail.
Yes? Oh, yes, thank you, Doctor. That's great news. We'll be there soon. She's okay. She's ready to talk.
Trooper Wagner, if you would keep Mr. Drysdale in custody while Lieutenant Elliot, Miss Cabrera, and myself go to the hospital to take Fran's statement.
Okay, bitch. Up. Come on, boy.
I'm gonna say this just to you, not to a courtroom of cameras, just you, because you know it's true. We allowed you into our home. We let you watch our granddad. We allowed you into our family. And now you think you can steal it from us? You think I'm not gonna fight to protect my home? Our birthright? Our ancestral family home? That is hooey. Harlan bought this house in the 80s from a Pakistani real estate baron.
Oh, shut up, Blanc. Shut up with that Kentucky Fried Foghorn Leghorn drawl.
Yeah, I killed Fran, but I guess I didn't. So what do you have on me, huh? Attempted murder? I get arson for the building, plus a couple other charges. With a good lawyer, which I have, I'll be out in no time. And then you'll see just how much hell I can wreak on your life, you vicious little bitch.
That means she was lying.
Yeah, bitch, no shit.
That's right. Fran's dead. And you just confessed to her murder.
Well, in for a penny.
Shing.
Stay tuned for scenes from the next episode of Dragon Ball Z.